Say hello to Tinks. She doesn't like being held up that high, I don't think. She's been whining at the door, so I thought I'd let her in. Okay, cool. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Bethan from Red Digital and I work to help small business owners and personal brand builders to grow their online presence. So today we're going to be talking about the favourite apps and tools that I use to kind of make my marketing easier. If you've ever run a marketing campaign before, you probably know that it can be quite difficult to juggle all the things that you need to do, from image creation to scheduling to just the project briefs and all the breakdowns, and then keyword research, editorial schedules and calendars that you need to refer to for key dates of things coming up that are relevant. Like, the list is endless. So over the years I've built up a bit of a toolkit of things that I use to make that process easier. So most of these are either like apps and software based websites or applications that you can download to your browser. But actually, luckily enough, pretty much every single one of these has an app that goes along with it. So it means that you can kind of think of things on the fly and do them on your phone as and when needed. Things never work the same running on apps as they do when you're doing them on your PC, but it does the job. So number one is Canva. This is the first thing that I sorted out when I started working in marketing. So I have a premium account and I absolutely swear by it, but the free version is also incredible. It's a drag and drop image creator and graphics creator that has tons and tons of templates for you to choose from. It's perfect for social media, any kind of header images that you need to come up with, for even websites and things like that as well. And they actually are now working with, I want to say Unsplash, or maybe it's Pixabay, so a free stock imagery company, and you can directly from Canva source stock images that you can feature as well. And that feature is a lifesaver for me. So I also use this platform to build kind of presentations and proposals to give to clients. Number two is HootSuite. Now there are a bunch of different schedulers that you can use and most of them all do the same thing, if I'm perfectly honest. But for me, for some reason, I just prefer HootSuite. I use a lot of others. I use Social Weaver, which is a really great one that works on like a jukebox basis, where it will republish old content after a certain amount of time. But just for day-to-day scheduling, I actually really love HootSuite. It's free for up to 3 social media accounts and it covers pretty much every social media platform. It does sometimes have some trouble with Instagram, just to warn you, but so does every other scheduler in the world. So another one that I use mostly for Pinterest is Tailwind. Pinterest was a pain to get scheduling for a long time, and Tailwind is absolutely incredible, but it is a paid for solution, so I didn't want to make it my main one. I've kind of explained what HootSuite does, but just to break it down, if you don't know what a social media scheduler is, it means that you can take content that you have prepared and publish it at a later date. So again, I'm going to give you a quick run through on what it looks like, how it works, and a couple of its features. Now, when it comes to coming up with the content that you need, a keyword researcher is absolutely vital. Now, I know a lot of people use Google for this, but I actually prefer this website called Answer the Public, where you will kind of hop on, find this very weird looking guy who stares at you, and they change the guy every now and then, so sometimes you'll have a different face staring back at you. But you can put in any topic, any keyword that you're interested in making content about, and it will come up with so many questions that you can kind of turn into blog titles, and it keeps me going for ages. It keeps my content calendar full all the time. But if I'm researching for video, I've got to say I don't think Answer the Public is the best, and instead I will use TUBEBUDDY, which is another freemium tool. But this one's a browser extension, so it's directly downloadable to Google Chrome or whatever browser that you use, and it will then appear when you go into YouTube. So just search whatever title it is that you're interested in, search whatever video that you want to make, and it will give you a score of whether this is a kind of good option for you or whether this is something that's going to have a ton of competition and your video is going to be completely swamped. So definitely check that one out. I've got a affiliate link, so it doesn't cost you anything at all, but if you want to show a little bit of support you can use my link below to download, and it's just TUBEBUDDY.com/Bethan. Now, when it comes to project management and creating content calendars or making reference for things, I actually use Asana. So for me, I will create a new team within Asana for every client that I have and make a couple of boards. So the first one that I'll do is a board that has a breakdown of their login information, their package that they've paying for, anything that we agreed in the proposal that they requested specifically, their strategy, and I'll even keep a record of any documents that I want to keep an eye on, so things like their contract, any invoices that have been sent, so that it can all be found in one place. And then secondly, I'll build a kind of editorial calendar where I'll mark in a calendar format any key dates for them. So first off, their business anniversary, any important dates. So maybe if they're seasonal, maybe when they're closed over Christmas, bank holidays, things that they closed for, and then any key industry dates. So say it's a cafe that you're working with, you could come up with like National Donut Day, National Cake Day, National Pie Day, or whatever it is, and make sure that you make a post about that on that day. So I just put all key dates here so that I'm aware of what's coming up. And finally, the last thing I put in this editorial calendar is any particular long form content that they have coming up. So I don't put social media in here, but if they have agreed to and they're doing like blogs or press releases or video content with me, I'll make sure that I have the published dates for all of those, and I'll make sure that they then are picked up by someone in the team to be shared on social later. Personally, I've got to say editorial calendars are something that can become an absolute mess if you try and keep them in Google Calendar. It just gets too much to run with and is very overwhelming. Whereas if I just block out a little bit of time to go and check in on all of my client editorial calendars and see what's upcoming and see what needs to be done when I'm building like the social media schedule or when I'm working on them specifically, this is the best. And then finally, I have a kind of to-do board where I have different sections for everyone in my team, and all of our outstanding work or things that need to be done urgently for clients will sit. So long-term scope work that needs to be done eventually won't sit in there, but anything that needs to be done within the next 2 weeks and has a deadline on it will be put in here and kind of assigned to people. Now, finally for me, my favourite tool out of all of them is probably the most boring, and that is Google Drive. So I store all of my documentation online, not only so that if my computer dies then I've got a backup, but if one of my team needs to access it and I'm on holiday, or if it's a document that needs to be picked up by a client and they can't get hold of any of us because we're in meetings but they need it now, then everything is stored online and everyone who needs to have access has access to it. It's brilliant for that element of keeping visibility with everyone that needs to and making sure that it's all online, but it also works really well for the social media side of my business with social media schedulers. So because all of the content is collaborative and they're live documents that can be worked on in a unison, it means that I can write a schedule, send it to a client and get their feedback directly in the document. If they want to, they can edit it themselves, or they can make comments, or they can even just turn the font red so I can see which areas need to be changed. And then when we go back into this at a later date, they can literally see me typing and updating things as they're on the other end. So it also, I think, helps satisfy the kind of element in a client's mind of what are they working on, what are they doing, because it can be seen. And there's no kind of element of, yeah, I'm almost done editing that, because they can see along the document how close I am to doing it. So I can say, absolutely take a look, but you can see where it hasn't yet been touched. And then obviously all of my other business files kind of sit within there as well. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Those are 5 of my favourite tools, and you could carry on going with hundreds and hundreds more, but let's just stick to the favourites for now. But I'm curious whether you guys use any other tools that I maybe didn't mention, or whether you have some kind of other favourite that is blindingly different to mine. Drop a comment below and let me know, and don't forget to subscribe because I've got new videos on this sort of content coming out every week.